before. You do that.
The Deep Dark and the Warden. A lot has changed, a lot is going on, so we're going to be covering everything we know about the Deep Dark and the Warden coming next year. So I actually want to start off the video by reading some tweets by the homie King B Dogs, also known as Brandon. He's a legend in the community, and not only that, he's a wonderful and very kind person. I've gotten to know him a little bit better the past year, and I think he just pours his heart into this game. So let's kick things off by reading some tweets by King B Dogs. I have to be honest, I was extremely nervous to announce that we were delaying the Deep Dark and Warden. We wanted to make it bigger, but wasn't sure if the community would accept it. Time and time again, we're shown that the community has our back, and I can't be more grateful. He continues by saying, for me also, I wanted to make sure that the Warden got a lot of time and polish to make it truly frightening in both its behavior and presence throughout the biome. That takes time, and it has to be done with the community. As you can see, we haven't been able to snapshot it yet. So without snapshots and being so close to the Caves and Cliffs Part 2 release, we figured it's better to wait. So let's do this right. Let's make this really immersive and nail-biting to the wild update. Thank you everyone for the amazing support as always. So I want to say thank you, Brandon. Thank you, Mojang, for pouring your heart into this update. Honestly, I've been covering the Deep Dark and Warden for practically over a year now, and I never would have imagined it turning into something like this, it evolving into an actual city. It feels like a dimension, like this doesn't even feel like you're in the overworld. So hopefully you guys are super hyped for this video, for the wild update. Share your favorite feature down below, and as always, please consider joining the Stealth Army. Click that subscribe button for daily content. Without further ado, you know the routine, you know the drill. Let's get straight into the video.
We've moved the Deep Dark into this update. Can you talk to us more about why?
Yes, I mean, one of the biggest things about the Deep Dark and the Warden and the Skulk is that it's just expanded, it's gotten bigger, and we really wanted to make sure that we did this right and that we didn't just rush it. That includes even unique loot inside the Deep Dark as well. And yeah. We also want to...
I know some people are going to be like, well, this was something expected to be in part 1 of the Caves and Cliffs update. Well, I don't know about you guys, but if someone told me they can turn a Honda Civic into a Lamborghini and it only takes a year, I'm going to take that Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? We're getting something here that I don't think anybody expected whatsoever. An entire civilization for the Warden. It looks incredible. I seriously can't wait. It just takes a little bit of patience. I know we've already been patient. This is something that does not exist in the entire game, and I seriously can't wait.
Let's actually look at some of the new things that we have in it right now, which is the ancient cities.
That's awesome. I can't wait. Oh, wow.
All right, so I'm guessing this is where a lot of the loot will be, maybe spread out. I'm not even sure which segment they showcase the treasure room. Is that still a concept? Is the treasure room still a thing? Or are they spreading the loot around? So I'm quite curious about that. But so far you can tell that there's going to be chests in several different locations. So it means you're going to have to be sneaky throughout the entire biome. So good luck with that. Wow, look at those pillars. I didn't notice that initially, but if we go back 1 second, you can see these huge pillars, like from Lord of the Rings. Wow. That is beautiful. It makes you feel like you're in an actual city, like you're so tiny. There's another chest right there. So there's going to be loot everywhere. Similar to the Bastion, you're not going to just find loot in one location. It's going to be all over the place. So it's probably going to be more difficult for people to just simply fight the Warden if that's what you're trying to do. Because if you're trying to fight the warden, as well as get the loot, you're probably not going to succeed because it's going to be chasing you all over the place. Whereas if you're being sneaky, you can go from one location to the next location, distract the warden, and just continue to collect loot. So doing it this way really forces people to focus on one thing instead of trying to fight the warden. The music is so creepy. You feel like you're in an alien planet somewhere, like you are in a hostile environment. That's what it gives off to me, at least. It's so spooky. I love it. So we got candles everywhere, we got redstone lamps, a bunch of deep slate. Some of these blocks I don't even recognize, but maybe they're all associated with deep slate or slate. So a lot is going on, a lot of different blocks in the Deep Dark City.
Wow, it's like both beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Like I have so many emotions when I look at that deep dark biome.
Yeah, last year we focused a lot on the Skulk sensor, but since then we've kind of been trying to figure out what do all the different blocks in the Skulk family do. And one of them actually is something called a Skulk catalyst. And the main thing about the Skulk catalyst is it's actually what causes the Skulk to spread. As you can see here, whenever a mob dies, such as a zombie, near the Skulk catalyst, it actually spreads Skulk underneath it. And the amount is based on how much XP.
I love the animation. I love how the souls float off the block. Such a nice little detail. And you can tell that this is a hostile environment. It's a living, organic environment that wants you out of there. The sensors are going to help the warden detect you. So the more sensors, the less likely you are to live in the Deep Dark City. I love it. It's so cool. And you can tell they've thought about every single feature, every single block.
That zombie would have dropped.
Wow.
So, the Deep Dark, it's kind of overgrown with all these Skulk blocks, so that means that lots of mobs must have died there.
Quite a lot, yes.
Make it less scary. Oh, and as you can see here, when you mine some of the Skulk blocks, you actually get enchanting points.
Yes, and of course, if you still want to get some of the blocks for decoration or something, you can just use a Silk Touch.
The scale of this structure, the scale of the Deep Dark City, I have a feeling they're going to be located beneath mountains, probably generate in large, massive caves. I'm talking about the largest cave you've ever seen before. This is where they're going to generate, because you can tell this is a really big environment that you could easily get lost in. It's like a labyrinth.
And then we have the Skulk Shrieker. So when this block is activated, it's gonna give that really scary shriek sound that you heard now.
Wow, that's so cool.
It's gonna give that really scary shriek sound that you heard now.
There's a lot of things you don't notice when you're watching an event live, because especially for me, I'm watching chat a lot. I'm just paying attention to chat and their reactions. But did you see how it sort of pulses and then the dark effect kicks in? That is so cool. Everything just goes black. I don't know about you guys, but I'm probably just gonna log out, take a break, and come back later.
And it also gives this darkness effect, so it's like pulsating darkness.
Wow, and it lasts for like a couple seconds. So all the lights were off for like 2 or 3 seconds. So yeah, that is really terrifying.
You can even see now when you're sneaking and you step on a Skulk sensor, even sneaking, it will activate.
Wow. Okay. Definitely not a friendly family.
So every block, like I mentioned earlier, is trying to find a way to let the warden know you're there. So no matter where you're at, even when you're being sneaky, if one of these Skulk blocks detects you, you are gonna be in trouble. Like the warden's gonna know immediately, and you guys see how fast the warden moves. You don't have too much time to react to that. So this is a very dangerous environment for new players, for veterans. Like, King Bee Dogs is not going to make this easy for us, and I can't wait.
And you can build like experiences for other players. Like imagine building like a haunted mansion or a really dark forest, and then you have the shriekers.
Terrifying.
So then, when players out walking and then they activate the shriek and hear like
That's amazing. Or you do that all around
man, I
your
love
world and just when
forest, and then you have
love
the
that.
shriekers.
it's terrifying.
So then, when players out walking and then they activate the shriek and hear like
It's amazing. Or you just
That's how I'd react to something too, man. Oh, I love Lady Agnes. I love her energy.
do that all
to do this
around your world and just whenever anyone's
well,
visiting
I'm
you.
not gonna visit your world.
Shriekers are just shrieking.
And the Skulk Shrieker activates too many times, the Warden will come.
Yo, this is terrifying, man. You guys hear the music just change? And I feel like at that moment, that's when the Warden's being summoned. You can hear the music just get higher in pitch. It's so creepy. It's hard to hear unless you have like a headset or something. The audio changes and you can tell like visually how it gets darker, but also the sounds, the music changes. And I feel like at that moment, you're in trouble. Like, you messed up. There it is. It happens. The Warden just came from beneath the ground. You can see it right here really fast. Right there. There's the Warden. That is literally the Warden. This was confirmed by King Bee Dogs. The Warden just came from beneath the ground. That is the coolest and the scariest thing in Minecraft ever. I've never would have imagined the Warden coming from underground like that. I'm honestly in shock right now. I can't wait. We can see the darkness effect, 24 seconds on that. We can also see that King Bee Dogs is yet again wearing full netherite gear, okay? Full netherite gear. I have to emphasize this because I know a lot of you guys think you're Drake. You think you're Lara Croft, okay? You think you're Indiana Jones. You're gonna go in there, get your sword, pow, 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 get the loot and leave. It's not gonna work like that, man. So just watch what happens. If you haven't seen this by now, things do not end well for King Bee Dogs. Again, the Skulk sensor gave off his presence, even though he's being sneaky, but because he's near it, the Skulk sensor gave off that vibration, letting the Warden, see these horns? Letting the Warden know someone's here, okay? Not good. Wow. Clearly, King Bee Dogs jumping on the sensor like that is to demonstrate how one simple accident, that's it. That's all it takes. Because the Warden is a track star, okay? The Warden can sprint to you in a second. It doesn't matter how far away it is. If it detects you, that's a wrap. I feel like this is an environment you do not want to be in without snowballs. Even if you're being sneaky, you do not want to be in this environment without snowballs. That's everything new, guys. I'll probably continue talking about the Deep Dark, the Warden, and everything else that King B Dog showcases within the next few months here on this channel. So if you aren't a part of the squad, please consider clicking that subscribe button. If you love the Warden, I've been covering the Warden, like I said, for over a year. So I feel like this is already my favorite feature. So thanks again for the support, notification squad. Y'all are the goats, and I'll catch you all in the next video. So take care. Peace.